Hey guys, welcome back to Starcastic Remarks. My name is Ryan Chambers. This podcast is the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. And thanks to DraftKings Sportsbook, as always, for being our sponsor. Next time you're there, please consider using that promo code THPN the next time you are there. If you're on YouTube, I'd appreciate it if you'd click like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of this podcast, which is, I'll be honest, is a bit of a downer right now. The- I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, and y'all can let me know your comments down below. And the this podcast at times has been analytical, and we've been analytical before. There have been times where it's been emotional, and maybe a couple weeks ago it was, very emotional and just sick of the same things over and over, but I don't even feel angry after this one. And that might be the most concerning part of the entire season for me right now. And I know what people are saying on social media, and they're like, Ryan, you're overreacting, and look, the team is still, second in the NHL, and blah 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 blah. And but right now, what I am seeing in front of me is just a completely 100% broken team. Dallas Stars lose tonight by a final score of 2-1 to the Utah Mammoth, and instead of just rage or frustration or that post game meltdown energy that some of you come here for, what I feel is just complete resignation. I'm just over it. I've and and I think a lot of people kind of feel the same way that I do right now. Is the one of the few wins that the Stars have had over the last month or so. I was was busy in my garage changing the rotors out on my wife's vehicle. And you might be saying, "Well, Ryan, that's a fantastic thing for you to do. You're fixing your wife's car." Yeah, but it almost felt like for the last 5 years or whatever that I was not allowed to miss a Stars game. And I held myself to that standard to understand what was going on and to be able to talk from a point of knowledge and what this team does and what they've gone through. But it's the same stuff for the last several weeks, guys. It's the exact same stuff. I've learned to care less over the last month and a half, not because like hockey doesn't matter to me or anymore or anything, but I don't have any emotional investment in this team because they keep asking for it and they're not really giving anything back. And tonight was another example of that. And I mean, there's a sadness that I haven't really felt like this in a very long time. And it's not anger, it's not outrage, it's just straight up sadness and depression. And I'll be honest with you here too. For those of you that are listening that are very regular listeners, it's been a while since I've done an episode, and the main reason for that is, I mean, there's several reasons for it, if I'm being honest. I mean, my schedule has been busy and life gets in the way. Things have happened. But the main reason why I haven't gone on here and talked to all of you guys here on the internet or, wherever you're listening is I haven't felt the need to. I feel like I would just be talking into the void and people would get bored with the same thing over and over of what I'm talking about. It's the exact same stuff every single time. And it's defensive coverage in their own zone, which was actually fairly good here tonight. Not converting on their chances, not getting Ottinger any help. They played a great game tonight and just couldn't get the puck in the back of the net. It is just incredibly frustrating and incredibly emotionally draining to watch this team right now. It's just straight sadness. 'Cause I've realized that I've been doing something lately that I never really used to do. I've just been waiting. I have been waiting for a game that felt good enough to actually sit down and record an episode with some actual genuine excitement. Waiting for a game where I'm, like, walking away thinking, "Okay, this is something that's kinda worth unpacking," or, this felt like something that maybe this is a turning point for the team this month. And we're into 2026 now, and that game just hasn't come. The last game that I thought we played genuinely well on was before Christmas, and it was in a losing fashion. And to be honest with you, it's been so long now, I don't even know who the Stars' opponent was on that time. But here, let me look this up. But oh, while I'm trying to look this up, it just even the wins just don't hit the same. Like when I missed the one game recently, I think it was the LA, yeah, the LA game. I didn't watch it. I couldn't. I was listening to it, but and I wasn't fully paying attention because I was busy trying to fix my wife's car. It just I've been able to find things that were more important. Okay, anyways, the last game that I thought the Stars played especially well in was literally the game before Christmas, was the 4-3 loss in overtime to the Detroit Red Wings. We are almost it's 10 games later. 10. The wins just don't hit the same right now. They feel fragile, temporary, and almost like it's borrowed time instead of actual momentum. And it's just like just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that messes with me as a fan. Like, and I got called not a fan today by people on social media. I'm not gonna specifically call them out and who it was, but the comment was, well, if you only like to watch the Stars when they play well and win, then you're not really a fan. Well, then fine, I'm not a fan. You tell me who right now would enjoy watching this. Nobody. Nobody. And yet still I come back and I sit on this stupid couch and I stay up late and I waste time when I could be doing basically anything else that would be way more productive. It feels like I'm wasting time right now. And I don't want people to think like I just do this podcast just to complain or anything. I don't just hit record just hoping to be disappointed. That's not a thing. What I want to do is I want to talk about, okay, look, here's the stretches in the game where the Stars were really good, and I want to talk about structure and growth, and like, okay, well, these guys are starting to build some chemistry here together. I want to talk about a team building for the playoffs right now, but I can't do that even though they're gonna be more than likely gonna be in the playoffs, but I can't. I'm sorry. If you want to call me not a fan because I care enough about the product on the ice and I want them to play better, then fine. Call me not a fan. Go ahead. Fine. I will gladly take that if that means that the Stars will actually start playing better. Call me crazy. Call me a loser. Whatever. I don't care. And it's just right now, every game just feels just a little bit heavier right now. Every loss, every time the Stars get scored on first, and it just adds another layer of emotional weight. And this is the part where I don't want to call him out, but my boss who I work for, he's just like, this is why I stopped watching sports. It's just like I keep coming back to the couch, sitting back like back behind me, and I'm like, do I really want to do this again to myself tonight? Do I want to? All right, I'm ready to be hurt again, like that typical joke you hear all the time, and it's none of the problems are being solved right now. And then when they finally do, which it felt like they solved a lot of their problems tonight. They had a good game tonight, I thought. It doesn't matter because they can't put the dang puck in the net. And then when you reach a point where you're almost avoiding talking about a team you love because you're just hoping and pleading for something that's worth celebrating, that that's what hurts the most. That's where I'm at with this team right now. I'm not expecting a goal anymore. I am hoping and pleading when I start a hockey game now that the Stars are going to win. And that's not the case. They're I mean, that is where I'm at. Sorry, I'm getting my thoughts mixed up. That's where I'm at. Is I'm just hoping and pleading, and I'm not expecting a win, which is what I expected earlier in the season. And even though the Stars played well, it tonight didn't change anything for me. It did. Nothing changed. And it didn't make me angry. It didn't light a fire. And I was even watching my dad in the very last game. I don't even remember who it is now because I don't care that much right now. It was the it was the Anaheim game, and I told dad, I was just like, they're gonna blow it. They're gonna lose. And no chance. And just they had an opportunity. They made this whole big push during the pregame show on the ticket when I was driving back home about, oh well, they can go and have a winning record on this road trip and be 3-2-1 and great, and then that's over NHL 500. And it didn't matter. It really did not matter. But and the game didn't make me angry. It didn't light a fire. It didn't make me want to rant for 30 minutes, which I'm already at 15 minutes. It's just it just kind of reinforced this same realization that I've had. It's been kind of quiet now, but that I've been sitting with for weeks, and it's like it's like watching this team has slowly drained the joy out of me, just one uninspired performance at a time. And and again, that's what makes it worse, is that this wasn't even a terrible hockey game for Dallas. It wasn't. I mean, let me look at my notes here. In the first period, you actually saw some jump early from the Stars. They seem to have some giddy up and go in their boots, in their skates. It looked like they got the happy drugs to go off, and just nothing. And I mean, like, and Duchesne was really good here tonight. And I know some people are going to, you know, say that I'm an idiot for that, but he was one of the few that was actually forcing turnovers in the neutral zone and in the offensive zone. And less than 2 minutes in, he rips a shot off, and I immediately noticed it because it looked like effort. It looked like pace. It looked like there were like a guy that understood the urgency of this and the ability to leave on a positive note on the longest road trip of the season. And then a little later, Adam Ernie back into the lineup, and also Jamie Benn. They both throw two big hits on the same shift. And for a moment, you might think is like, okay, maybe they're going to push back a little bit physically tonight. And then literally later on in the third period, Razor mentioned it on the broadcast. Like, I literally was talking to my father on the couch, and I was just like, they just need to push back physically a little bit. And that's literally the exact words that came out of Razor's mouth after I said that. Anyway, back to the first period. They were forcing turnovers left and right. Duchesne was forcing Sergachev to turn the puck over in his own zone. And they had a really good shift. That Hintz line had moments where they were actually dictating play instead of just reacting. And you could see that Dallas was trying to be a little bit more assertive defensively. The defensive coverage was a little bit better tonight. It still wasn't great, but it was better. But even then, the same issues showed up almost immediately, and they forced and this has been a thing that has kind of popped up over the course of this road trip is they might force turnovers, but then they don't do anything with them in terms of quality chances. Maybe they don't even get a shot off. And they get possession, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel dangerous. It doesn't feel like when they have a 3-on-2 going the opposite way that they're gonna be able to do anything with it. Everything just kinda stays to the outside. Vemelka is set, calm, comfortable, and then on the other end, Utah is getting all of these chances off the rush, which I understand that's mostly what they do, but Dallas can do that too. We didn't see that very much. There were shots through traffic from Utah, and Dallas was just hesitant to even shoot the puck. And the looks that Utah was having forced Otter to make some really good saves. He was probably the Stars' best player here tonight, honestly. And that's a great bounce back from what he had a couple of several games ago, actually. And just he was sharp early. And then another thing that they continue to do, they continue to take penalty after penalty after penalty. And just it's the same players that seem to go to the box, and they they survive the first penalty kill, but it needed Ottinger to make some ridiculously good saves to keep it going. And that's just been a theme for a while now. Is just several of these things. They're just kind of surviving situations rather than dictating them or thriving in them or dominating them, which is what they should be doing, but they're not. And then there are the things that just kind of won't go away. That like the blind passes on zone exits. Please get rid of them. Please stop trying to do no look clears or try to make it look fancy or whatever. It's not working. Find something else to do. This team needs a complete overhaul in what they're doing. And I even wrote in my note, like, please stop with the blind passes out of the zone. Like at some point, that stops being a mistake and it starts becoming an identity of the team. If they continue to make the same mistake over and over and over and over, and the first period ends up scoreless, which is nice because it has felt like for the last month that the first period has been terrible for the Stars, but it didn't feel comfortable. And then the shots are completely tilted in Utah's favor. And I know a lot of that has to do with the power play they got, but still the flow didn't feel great. The eye test didn't make me feel any better. And it feels like it's just one mistake is going to swing the game. And we'll talk about that here in a second. But in the second period, I thought Dallas actually had like their best stretch of the night. I truly did, and which somehow makes just the final result of all of this just even more frustrating. Rantanen would get a one-timer look off a really good pass from Nels Lundqvist. Dylan Gunther, who had a ridiculous game. It seemed like Josh said his name a ton. He comes back the other way, and Ottinger has to make another save. And then Dallas gets a power play, and it seems like the only way they can get power plays is from too much men or too much man, as they jokingly say on the internet. And I'm kind of thinking like, okay, this is a chance. And then I see it again. Rope doesn't shoot when he needs to, and I get it. Like that pass across the slot to Rantanen on the opposite side would have basically been a slam dunk. But right now, the Stars are struggling to score and win hockey games. And the only way you are going to win these games is if you shoot the puck at the net at the first opportunity that you can. This team needs to take a look at what they're doing and simplify everything. Everything needs to be simplified. Everything needs to be the crash the net style for every offensive play. And when you have a chance to shoot the puck, even if it might not be the top quality shot, if it's even just like a smidgen of a quality shot, you need to take that opportunity. Because what that did is it stopped any pressure the Stars had. It allowed Utah to get back into it and have an opportunity to make the play, which they did. And that that feed was taken away. That rope pass was taken away. During that same power play, Bork would have a point blank look just right off of a great Rantanen feed, and he can't elevate it. And that was something that Rantanen would do later. We'll get to that. But Harley would get a shot and a chance off of a cross home pass. It was pretty good. Duchesne tried to wrap around. Foxy gets a one timer look later. There are chances, but none of them feel dangerous. Like it doesn't seem like they're scaring the crud out of the Mammoths. It wasn't a thing. And this is something I put in my notes, but it seems like they controlled the puck for long stretches of the second period, especially the first 10 minutes and maybe even the first 13 minutes. And Utah just felt comfortable to me. That's that's a really bad sign. That's terrible. And then with 7 seconds left in the period, it happens, and Jamie Benn has the puck on his stick, had a chance to get it out of the zone, which should have been a routine exit, and he has possession. I don't know if he got fooled up on it or if he just fanned on it. I assume he just fanned on the pass. I don't know. But it's taken. It's thrown towards the net. Nick Schmaltz gets a piece of it, basically just sticking a stick out there, and puck goes into the net. 1-0 into the second period, and that just took the sails out of everything. And I was just like, oh, yep, there's that feeling again. And I just put, wow. That's all the thoughts I had at the end of the second. And I just closed my computer for a little bit and went and did something else until the third period started. That goal just sums up so much of what's been wrong. It's not pressure. It's not scheme. It's not some kind of incredible play that Utah did. And I'm not trying to take away what they did, but it's just a mistake at the worst possible time at the end of the second period. And then it flips the entire game on its head. Stars were never able to recover after that. The third period would start, and Utah has a goal that's waved off almost immediately, and that was the one funny part of the entire game. I mean, even Lawson Krause was like, "How the heck did I do that?" And nobody celebrated it because they knew Lawson Krause is a big dude, and it was over his head. So surely, if it's over his head, it doesn't count. And it was a goal that was waved off immediately, and I was really hoping that it was going to be a wake up call for the Stars. And instead they immediately looked rattled. Like, excuse me. Harley just misplayed the puck, and Keller would get a chance off of that. And I mean, Thomas Harley is not playing the same way that he did last year. And I get it. I totally get the fact that he's coming back from an injury. He was out for 4 weeks, a month-ish, something like that. And before then, he looked pretty good. Gosh, does Dallas need him to get back to where he was at last year? We really need him right now, and we really needed him in this game. He played over 30 minutes tonight, but it just he has the defensive miscues that Miro does not. Utah would start pushing Dallas around physically, and this is where I mentioned earlier in the episode where it seemed like Dallas doesn't really push back right now and didn't even really care. The physicality that Glenn Golitzson was talking about at the beginning of the year, and that I was hoping to see that that 1% every single game, that it's not there. It's not there at all. I don't know why that part of their game had to exit when Liam Bichel exited the lineup with his own injury. But there are people on this team that can throw the body, and they need to do so more because right now nothing else is working. Try the crash the net style. Simplify the game. Then Robe would get hooked driving into the zone, and it was a good hook. It was a clear penalty, and he didn't get much off on a shot on the backhand, but They finally get their power play, and it feels like a must score. And to the Stars' credit, they do score, and it's Wyatt Johnston just with his fingerprints just all over this goal in several different ways. Not only is he the one that takes it to the net, basically, like I said, crashes the net. Sorry for the yawning. And Rantanen just cleans up the rebound. It was that simple. That's all it was. But Wyatt Johnston also was the one that kept the puck in the zone after the Stars lost the faceoff. And he is the reason why that the Stars have some life here. And it seems like they have some life. And then it almost immediately disappears about 2 minutes later. And it's just, my gosh, there's so much luck involved in this. But Marino, the former Penguin, just throws a point shot that hits the top of Ottinger's mask. It pops straight up, arcs through the air, and somehow drops into the net. And I don't know why this pops into my head, but Antoine Roussel had a goal many years ago now that he scored that shouldn't have been his goal. It was just the luckiest bounce in the entire world. And that's what it reminded me of. And I mean, yeah, you can't make it up. Yeah, there's luck involved in that. But what matters even more after that is just what happens next. And Dallas looked deflated and the energy was gone. It was drained out of the building. And there was just a massively brutal shift for Lindell and Lundqvist and that top line. They just completely lost defensive structure out there. And there were points where they started dumping the puck in without actually chasing it. They loved the dump part, but not the chase part. And that there were some missed calls that I thought the refs, could have called. I mean, Wyatt with almost a neon knee hit from Sean Dursey, excuse me, and nothing gets called there. And Dallas just can't buy a power play right now. And I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that they're not getting those opportunities, and their play on the ice, their hustle, their compete level, their energy level has just not been the same for the last month. I don't think that is a coincidence that the amount of power plays they're getting is less right now. And I even turned to Dad, and I was just like, they just need to manifest their own power play. They just need to pull the goalie early. And sure enough, I think it was like 3:22 left in the third. Here comes Otter out of the net, and they spent so much time in the Utah zone. They had so much sustained pressure. Chances came and went, and at the end, none of them go in. And it's 2-1 for Utah. And I wasn't shocked, and it was just as I expected. Jake Ottinger was great again. Without him, this game isn't even close. Duchesne was noticeable for me. He was also a little bit disruptive too in the offensive zone, forcing turnovers. I mean, that was pretty good. Wyatt Johnson had a good game too. Obviously, I mean, the only goal of the game is because of him. He's the only one that has his fingerprints all over that, even though it's Ranton who is the one that ends up scoring it. But I mean, they won some puck battles. Some of the zone exits were a lot better. There were others that were not. But beyond that, it's hard to find much to hang your hat on here tonight. And Utah played a simple game. They got a bit of luck and waited for Dallas to kind of beat themselves. And Dallas did exactly that. The most concerning part about all of this, I guess, is it isn't just one loss or just one unlucky bounce. It's just that this team doesn't look PO'd. They don't look angry. They don't look upset when they lose. They don't look embarrassed. They look tired. And now this is a habit, and that's dangerous. It's really dangerous that it's at this point. It wasn't a blowout, and it wasn't chaos, and but it was just a deeply concerning loss because it showed a team no longer seems surprised by losing. They seem okay with it. I know they're not okay with it. Let me throw that out there. I know that they're not okay with it, but it seems like they are. It's the same problems, it's the same results, and it's just another night where it feels like, wait, I've seen this before. I've seen this exact game before, and I have. We've seen it. We've seen it every single time for the last, I don't know, last month. Wanted to share a couple of stats with you guys. This is from the NHL website. I was just curious, and I went to the team statistics, and I did a date range from December 26th of 2025 to today. All right. Points percentage wise, the Stars are 28th in the NHL over that time period, and they're only better than the Flyers, Rangers, Canucks, and Ducks. Goals for, the Stars are currently 24th over that same period. Goals against, they're 17th. So the goaltending seems to have done its job. Power play percentage, 30th out of 32 over this stretch. They're 10% on the power play. So for every 10 power plays they have received, they have only scored on one of the 10. And then get this. This is the penalty kill percentage that was talked about. It actually went up, guys, because of this game here tonight. It went from 63.6% to 66.7%. That's good for 30th in the NHL over that time period. It's just frustrating to watch this team right now. And really, 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 really frustrating. Let's take some of y'all's comments. Let's see what we got, guys. Natalie, Nil needs to make a move soon. Needs to add more size and bark to this team. I just don't think the Stars have the assets to do it unless they're willing to trade off Cameron Schmidt and possibly Emil Hemming. I mean, that's basically all the Stars have in terms of prospect pipeline, which is what these bottom feeders of the NHL are going to be looking for. Maddox, I don't even know what to say anymore. 2-5-3 in the last 10, and they look like a team that just started playing together last week. They've got to figure something out. And that is exactly why Glenn Goldson gets paid the big bucks and not me or you, Matto. Let's see. Nate, I'm glad Mammoth games are blacked out in Arizona. Oh, that's funny. Let's see what else we got. Refs have a clear bias against the Stars right now. They just let teams do whatever the heck they want to every night. It feels like the Stars need to play the diving game, and I don't know. Maybe that's not the right thing. Maybe they don't need to play the diving game, but it just feels like that the Stars are not getting rewarded with more power plays. But do they necessarily deserve it? I don't think they do. Natalie, I don't think they played that bad of a game tonight. Just couldn't get the puck in the net, and I agree. But at the end of the day, again, it's just moral victories. Moral victory. I mean, the result of this game is a loss, and the result of the Anaheim game is also a loss. One game we can say we absolutely sucked it up in, and then one game we can say we played really well in. For anybody who didn't watch either one of those games, it looks the exact same. Results matter. Ryan, thank you, Ryan. Here's $20. I wish I could say it makes me feel better, but not exactly. I would trade this $20 for a Stars win right now. I don't know, man. Buy yourself dinner and forget about the team for a minute. It's hard for me to do that, Ryan. It's just that I am so emotionally invested in this team right now, and have been for my entire life. It has honestly been extremely weird to care less about hockey right now and watching the Stars game and making sure that I know every single little detail of what's going on in the hockey world. I just it's been weird. It's been weird. Other things have taken priority over that, which I guess in some ways is a good thing. But man, it just sucks when your team is terrible. Natalie, it's time to shake the lines up. They've tried to do that, and I was really excited to see Golitzin put that line back together of Bork, Beck, and Ritzkovian, and it didn't really lead to anything. Like I thought they were okay, but I was hoping they were going to be a difference maker, and they weren't. Um. Sounds like the Lightning are due. Matto saying, and the next game is against the Lightning that have won 10 in a row. No, it's actually oh yeah. The very next comment is actually it's 11 in a row. So there you go. Yep. Just man, it's just 11 in a row is just really, 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 really crazy. And I mean, the Stars were on a similar run like that. It wasn't a winning streak, but I think it was like a point streak is what I think they were up to, like double digits, like 14 or 15 or something. Um, Christian here with an interesting take, and I don't mean interesting in a condescending way, Christian. But anyways, the issue is Golitzin. Team is trying to play some trap defensive system when they're loaded with offensive talent. Play way too passive. We don't get that many power play. We don't get as many power plays because we barely have the puck in the ozone. And that's I like the second half of that, especially Christian, because I 100% agree with you on that. I I'm not ready to say that the issue is Golitzin yet. It might be. I truly don't know. If I had the answer, I would go and tell Jim Nill, and maybe Jim Nill would listen to me. But I just they were fine. And the thing is we got some people back with like Nils and with Harley. Both of those guys were out, and it was when Bishop was playing a top 4 role, and I mean, Miro hasn't been in the lineup for the last 2 games for family personal reasons, but like I mean, Petrovic was playing like 20 minutes a night and looking good while doing 20 minutes a night. And this is a guy who was supposed to be our number 7 defenseman this year. He was playing top 4 minutes because of all of the issues that we had on the decor in terms of injuries. And that's why I'm not ready to say that it's Golitzin. I think goalie just has been figured out by the rest of the league. It was like I guess everyone looked at what Detroit did in in that game on the 22nd or the 23rd, excuse me, and every team since then has just copied it. They've copied that style against the Stars, and it's worked. And the Stars have yet to adjust. They haven't adjusted yet. So maybe in that way it is Golitson's fault, but I don't think that he is the one to blame. I think it is the players on the ice, and it's all between the ears. I really truly think that that's what it is. Burned oils. This team is going to make Ryan emotionally bankrupt. Yeah, I think I'm already there because I'm sitting here laughing after a 2-1 game where the goal that went in was just a complete and utter joke. So it just, I was just like, oh yeah, of course that's gonna happen, yeah, and just yeah. I do think that this team needs some reinforcements. I think and I don't think they need a shakeup in terms because they have a bad mix of players because I think especially personality wise that's a big thing that Jim Nell cares about. He doesn't normally go out and get those type of players. But I think they just need some help. They need some new fresh legs and eyes and hands in the locker room to try and get this team going. Maybe the injury to Tyler Sagan is way, way bigger than we realize. And maybe he was a bigger vocal leader than we think. Because since he has left the lineup, it's been pretty rough. This team has really truly missed Tyler Sagan. All right, guys. It's been 45 minutes on a game that I hated watching, but I owed y'all some content. I didn't want to do an episode over the last several weeks, and it should have been done way ahead of time. I apologize, but it's hard to be a Stars fan right now. And my emotional investment in this team is at a all-time low right now. So, doesn't mean I'm not going to keep coming back and keep watching, but would be a lot easier on my mental health. I'm mostly joking, y'all. It's hockey, okay? But I am emotionally invested too much in this team, and it's gotten to the point where that investment is expecting to lose. So, thank all of y'all who are following live along here this evening. It's 11:54 at the time I'm recording this. There's even more of you who are listening afterwards. We really appreciate y'all listening to us. Make sure you go to DraftKings Sportsbook. As always, we appreciate them being our sponsor. And as always, if you're watching on YouTube, please consider clicking like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers each and every single day. If you're listening on the audio side, please leave us a 5-star review whatever your favorite podcast platform of choice is. We would really appreciate that. Sarcasticremarks.com is the website, and sarcasticremarksshop.com for all the merch store. If you'd like to join the Who Cares Club for $5 a month and get access to my game notes and other perks, link is in the description below. And we would really appreciate that just to kind of help us keep this content free for everybody. It is never going to be behind a paywall. That's just how I feel about this. It's never going to be behind a paywall like that. So thank you guys for listening. My name's Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. We hope you guys have a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening. Whenever you guys are listening, man, I really hope the Stars win again here soon and it actually be a good one. Good night and go Stars.